Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And today we are with Penny.
Hey.
Hi, Penny. How
Hello.
are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Headmistress of Titterpig Academy.
Yeah, technically the founder. It wasn't my idea, but I did press the button to make that Discord happen. So then I got put in charge, and now I'm responsible for things.
Oh, for all the other Titterpigs? All the other piglets? I don't know. What would you call your
we
grouping?
We call them Academy members.
There we go. That's a better word.
The first day we didn't call them piggies. That was the role for every member. It didn't go over well. Not everybody wants to be called a piggy, which is fine and understandable. I didn't mind it because I think piggies are cute.
I think they're wrong because like you signed up for the Discord, like you pressed the button.
You saw a Titterpig.
And you said yeah.
They did press the button that said Titterpig Academy, and it has. And the Discord logo has always been a pig. At first, it was a pig in like a robe and like a tall pointy hat, like a wizard robe and a tall pointy hat. Now it's a kind of a flatter image of a pig in like a graduation cap with a D20 in the background. But it's always been a pig because like
You should have known.
you know, we took the name Titterpig. That wasn't started by me, by the way. Titterpig was started by Klaus of Dungeon Noobs Academy. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
No, I don't think I am.
yeah, he makes,
But to be honest,
makes a lot of videos on TTRPGs and didn't like saying TTRPG all the time with his wife, and didn't want to use D&D in the generic because other games, you know, deserve the respect of actually saying them by name. But when you're referring to the hobby as a whole, it's like it's not all just D&D. There's a lot of things here, and so the two of them started saying TTRPG is a word, and the way they pronounced it was Titterpig. And I stole it and made it more popular. So you're welcome, Klaus.
I to be honest, I thought you were the originator. Okay.
A lot of people do because like I made the Discord for it and stuff that has it in the name and things like that. And I like started using the tag on TikTok and things like that. And I think that was before Klaus was on TikTok. He's originally from YouTube and is kind of both places now.
Gotcha. I wanted to talk about the subject today of creating games. I had the pleasure of talking with Penny about creating a game I've like early conceived and then kind of have guidance. Unfortunately, that guidance has been like kind of held on elsewhere until I have the time again. People who are viewing this at home, my eyes are just like not good. I was actually checking my sleep. I've been sleeping 3 to 4 hours every night, and I didn't realize that.
Adrian.
I'm sorry.
Adrian.
That is bad.
It is
I
bad.
was honestly on the other spectrum of it, and I was like, you know what? Adrian looks really handsome today, but also looks a lot like Dante. Like you look like Dante today.
Dante's my brother. For the, just fine.
So, I don't know what that says about this whole situation, but yeah. Okay. Can we get some more sleep, please? Maybe?
Probably. I mean, I don't think I have to go in early. I've been trying to catch things. Like, I had to get up early for a server. A bunch of things. Work. I'm dumb because my friends got me a game about being a owner of a card shop.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that
Have
game.
some
Yeah,
conversations.
I'm like, it's fine. I won't get addicted. And then it's 5 a.m. and I'm like, oh,
You
what am I doing with my
might be
life?
a little addicted
Oh,
at that point. You
Adrian.
might.
I'm just saying that's my future, okay?
But Adrian,
I would love to give out cards to all the young men and girls and non-binary pals just everywhere. Please, let me just give you shiny cardboard.
for the last 2 weeks, I've been getting 8.5 hours plus. Like I have consistently and I'm still struggling. I'm in whatever is happening right now. I am still struggling to survive.
So I decided to turn 31, and I said, who needs sleep? We ain't gonna live forever, guys.
No.
I need sleep. I'm 35 and I have a kid. Like I'm not not messing around here.
See?
That's the issue. I don't have a kid yet. No, I'm just kidding. That'll
Yeah,
balance
you
me
get
out.
away with more when you have a kid because you don't need the energy. You have no one to take care of but yourself.
Exactly. Well, sorry we just throw things into the tangent. Tell me about your first creation, your first game that you made, Penny.
The first game I made, well, I made a lot of games and
Mhm.
didn't share them for a while. And the things that I kind of started with was hacks of Cortex back in the Cortex Prime or Cortex Plus days. I don't know if you two are familiar with the Cortex system. There's like basically 3 different versions of it. There's the Cortex Classic, which was not particularly interesting in any way other than like it had the attribute ratings as different die sizes, which is a thing that I really like, but it wasn't really doing anything else. Cortex Plus came in a few different varieties. They called them like action, heroic, and drama. I think drama was Smallville, and the attributes you used in that game were your values and your relationships. So it was really built on character drama and interpersonal relationship stuff, which was great. And then like heroic was like Marvel heroic role playing, which about being superhero. And they also released this the Hacker's Guide to Cortex Plus, which is a horribly formatted book. I don't recommend reading it at all, but it changed the way I thought about games, so it helped me a lot. And I started just making my own games with the Cortex system and just running them for my table, which at the time was like my wife, a couple of my cousins, and my brother. So it was like all like close family, and things like that. And that's like later on when one of my best friends, we started playing online. So that's most of what I made. The first game I released, like to the public, is a 1-page game called That Cake Was Out of This World. And I specifically made a 1-page game because I was working on too many games and none of them were getting done. And I'm like, I just want to go through the whole process, to go through like the game design process, to do the art, to do the layout, and to make a PDF and put it up on a website. And so I did that. I did that in a day because like game design is a thing that I had been doing. Like I said, there was Cortex hacks. I was a hobbyist video game developer for a while, like indie game developer. So like I know about game design. It's a thing that I'm always kind of been passionate about. But yeah, That Cake Was Out of This World. I think it's kind of what I count as my first TTRPG because it's the first one that I released out into the wide world, and it has like it's a 1-pager, so it just kind of gives you a setup prompt of like a couple of D6 tables. It gives the characters like D6 of like a skill that they have and a D6 of like an item that they have in their pocket, and then the premise is that you're at some sort of party, whether it's a retirement party or an office party or a birthday party. You bite into your cake, and the cake was magical, and it transports you to another world. And you have to find your way back home. So it's very silly, and you get to go to weird places and like try and use your improv comedy skills and your pocket knife that you happen to have on you to get back home. So I've run it only a couple of times, but it's been a good time every time.
When you're able to run games for, I guess I'm assuming a bit. Are you playing a lot of games within the Titterpig Academy server?
Most of the games that I run through the Titterpig Academy server. Yeah.
And when you get these players, how do you choose? First come, first serve. What's your process?
Yeah. So for those unfamiliar with the Titterpig Academy Discord, I'll give a quick rundown. Yeah, so it's a Discord that was started by me and a bunch of like TikTok mutuals. We wanted a place specifically to teach people RPGs beyond like 5e. 5e has a ton of resources out there. We wanted a space for everything else, right? That doesn't get nearly as much support. So we made this Discord server. Now there's a bunch of people in it. When we run like official classes, there's like community games, which anybody can join. And then there are like the classes, which are run by vetted people that we gave the role of professors. And so a professor runs a class with the intention on teaching the rules to whoever joins. And it's usually first come first serve because we don't usually run into issues, but officially you get highest priority if you have never played that game before and you are not a professor. So it's members that haven't played the game before get the highest priorities, and then members that have played the game before, and then professors at the end. So like if a professor wants to play a game that's a class run by another professor, they're always like waitlisted automatically, and they don't know until like the day of if they get to play in that game or not. Which is a downside of being like a staff member, but also it's like it fits our goals of like trying to get new people trying new games, right? Because it's like if we just wanted to run games for each other as like staff members of the Discord, we could. We're all friends. We're all like in multiple Discords together and and stuff like that, and mutuals on a bunch of social media platforms. It's like we could just run stuff together if we wanted to. So
we could just hang out.
Yeah, we could just hang out. But yeah, that is how we decide who gets to go first. Is like, yeah, if you've never played this game before and it sounds cool, you get first pick.
What has been your most exciting game you got to play?
You know, I'm not sure. I've run a good variety of games in there, so it's hard to say. I think one of the coolest experiences I had was I ran Ex Novo, or sort of facilitated it. It's GMless. It's a world building game, and we made up this island, like this floating island that's floating above a volcano. And that was really cool. It was a really cool setting. And then we took that setting, and I ran a workshop where I worked with whoever showed up to the workshop to make a Cortex hack for it. So I designed a game for the setting. And then we played a one-shot in that setting with the rules that we designed together. But no one person was present for all three of those things, which was really interesting. So that's one of the coolest experiences I had, is like being the facilitator of that and getting to see how like these people built a world. And then like I think there was one person who carried over from the world creation to the game rule creation, and then a different person who carried over from the game rule creation to the actual playing of it. But it was I think that was probably one of the most memorable like game experiences I had on there, of like being able to collaboratively build a world and then collaboratively build a rule set for it, and then be able to actually play that rule set. That was a really cool experience.
It does seem very magical that like how it kind of came, like not one same person was in each of those sessions.
Yeah, not a single person was in all three, except for me, who was facilitating each one. Yeah, but
it still made something beautiful.
Yeah, and in the one shot, one of the player characters was actually the main villain, which is a thing that doesn't happen in a lot of games.
Right.
But yeah, we were like I said, we made a Cortex hack, and we were running it in a very it was very similar to Smallville in that it was prioritizing like emotions and relationships and things like that. And so like the players being at odds is very well supported in that game, and that sort of like PvP conflict. So having the one guy that was like playing this rich ultra pro-capitalist coming into this secluded island and trying to take its resources, and everybody else just banding together against him was really cool to see. And it was great that it was like we all got to have fun, we all got to go through that, and it wasn't like feelings weren't hurt on a personal level. Like there was just everybody did a really good job of separating the fiction happening within the game versus like the feelings we had as players.
I think that's very important, that division, because I've seen people who feel like um, when a role doesn't match what they're feeling, it's hard to say, let me see how I can do it. Some people just get like
Yeah.
stunned and they're just like, oh, I have to think of something else, but I really wanted to do this thing. Um, and part of me is just like, unfortunately, I'm beholden to the rules. I don't have to be honest. But
Right. Like
in
you.
my meager, haphazard way of trying to make things work, I'm just like, oh, this is what the rules say. What do I do? What do I do? I panic and I just like, this
Yeah.
is what I know. Um, how do you, when it comes to players' emotion, um, do you feel like you're able to kind of like see when things are going well and not well?
Um, I think I do a pretty good job of that. I've run a lot of different games for a lot of different people,
Hmm.
as you would expect from somebody who's doing what I do and trying to introduce people to a lot of new games. And so if something feels off, I'm usually okay with like stopping the game and just checking in and making sure, especially when it comes to like player versus player conflict,
Yes.
whether that's combat or an argument or whatever. It's like especially if we didn't talk about it before the session.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, we're venturing into territory that might be a little iffy here. Let's just check in and make sure that like everybody's having fun and we're all consenting to this. And if we're not, let's talk about how we can move forward from it. But yeah, for the most part, I haven't really had any issues, which is a little surprising playing with like complete strangers a lot of the time. But overall, I think it's been mostly good experiences on my end and like people doing a pretty good job of being able to separate what's going on in the game and their own emotions. I think the safety tools that we use help a lot with that. Like we use the X card, we use like script change. I use script change and like lines and veils as well. And all that's really helpful because people know that like if they're uncomfortable, they can just say something. They can DM me. They can like put something in the chat.
Right.
They can just speak up in whatever way they feel comfortable, and then we can kind of stop the game and talk about what's going on.
I don't think I've heard of
I was
script
gonna say
change.
that's the one I haven't heard.
Yeah, so script change. I don't remember. I don't remember who wrote it. It was written by two RPG designers, but it uses like movie terms. So pause, play, stop, fast forward, and rewind are like kind of the tools that you have of like, I'm good, let's keep going. That's a play. I'm not really sure, like I'm slightly uncomfortable. That's a pause. You might do a stop if you need to like step away for a minute, or it's like actually I don't like the way that went down, and I'm uncomfortable in the direction we're heading. We can rewind and change things, or it's like we ventured into things where maybe I'm feeling a little bit iffy, but if we don't dwell on it, I'm probably fine. You can fast forward and not like describe in detail whatever was going on. So, yeah, recommend checking it out. It's useful, even if you don't end up like fully using it. I think just the ideas there are all good and useful, no matter what safety tools you decide to use.
Right. Yeah. I think I have similar things for everything except for the rewind, which I
Yeah,
think is an interesting concept that I haven't really like.
yeah.
I
I
know like
haven't.
retcon kind of does the same thing, but like for
Mhm.
it to be like a player just like, hey, I'm calling for a rewind right now is much different than like, hey, should we do something like a group discussion like this
Yeah,
player
I mean,
urgency
I think.
agency given to it.
Yeah, I think that it's more or less the same thing of like it is the ability for a player to call for a retcon, but also the way that I view all of these tools is that
Hmm.
they're the start of a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of like being able to talk about comfort levels, being able to talk about how you want to go about doing this so that everyone can continue to have fun in the game. And I haven't ever had to use the rewind feature of script change, to be perfectly honest. Um, it's
She's
always
that
been fine to
good.
just like pause or fast forward are like the two big ones of like
Hmm.
You know, it's like, okay, that description is a bit much. Let's just move past it. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Or like, actually, I'm not sure how I feel about this. And then you just talk about it. And that's just how I view safety tools in general. Like we call them safety tools. I think that they're communication tools, really. It's like
Right. Yeah.
just a way for you to flag to the other people at the table that you might be uncomfortable. Because like when we're role playing, a lot of people like to get into character and act out what they're doing, and so it can be hard to tell whether someone's actually uncomfortable or whether they're acting uncomfortable.
Right, yeah.
And so just having extra tools for being able to communicate what's going on is just really really useful, and really beneficial, especially when you're playing with people you don't know really well.
And I like the idea that even just like the script change, like it's cute. And then I have all of my choices in front of me, which I think for me, I may not be able to explain exactly why I'm feeling something, but being like, hey, can we fast forward? Really makes it feel like there's not as much stress or anxiety from my side about like choosing the option. Just like, then I'm like, hey, cool, we're doing this. I would like to do this one, or I'd like to pause, or I'd like to, and then like giving me the like pre-selected options, I think is the word I'm trying to look for right now.
Yeah, I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of like feeling like you have to justify when you're uncomfortable, right? And like explain it, and it's like that's, I don't know, not everyone wants to be that vulnerable when you just want to roll some dice and tell a story with your friends, you know? Especially if it's not even with your friends. If you just want to have fun and tell a story and roll some dice and you don't know other people at the table, having pre-agreed upon tools, I think it's really nice.
Yeah. I like we use the colors, which the colors are, all of these tools work, right? But even the tool, like if I'm yellow, then like what kind of yellow? And then we have to have this like further conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's how almost all of them are, right? It's like it's sort of always a start to like some conversation, but like the more robust the tool is, the shorter the conversation has to be. And like the traffic light system, I think it's great, and I think it's easy to understand. It just doesn't give you that like fast forward option, right? Because it's like yellow is like, no, it feels like you need to slow down and figure out what's going on, where it's like if you say I want to fast forward past this, it's like, okay, something in the scene is making this person uncomfortable, let's just end it and move to the next scene, and call it a day. It'll be fine.
What is your most like fleshed out game currently?
So I have 3 games that are finished and published, which we already mentioned. That cake was out of this world. I also made Supernatural Sapphics, which is like a brochure size game. It's a pamphlet. One side is for the GM, the other side is for the players, and as the name Supernatural Sapphics would suggest, is a relationship-focused game. You're playing toxic queers that also happen to be like cryptids and monsters and witches and things like that, and it's about their relationships. And what was the other one? Dealing with Deities. That one I just published. I don't know when this is going up, but as of recording, I just published this like yesterday. And it's a GM-less card-based game about demigods. So you play immortals that they're jealous and manipulative and just like obsessed with each other. So it's very like Greek.
Very Greek,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, very very Greek. So if you want to be dramatic and you want to manipulate each other and you want to vie for power, this is a good game for that. But my most in-depth game, the one that has the most mechanics overall, is one I've been working on for a while, and one I'm very proud of where it's at, even though it's not technically finished, is Distorted Domains. So yeah, I made my own die system that's kind of somewhere between Grok and Cortex, which is two like fairly deep cuts in the RPG scene as far as game mechanics go. But they're two of my favorite games, and I kind of married the two together to make my own game and make a dice system based on that, where like you're rolling a pool of dice, but you're only keeping the highest one. Supernatural Sapphics uses a derivative where you're rolling a pool of dice, but you keep the highest and the lowest and compare them.
Interesting.
But yeah, Distorted Domains, it has like 5 different settings that you could play in. They're pretty light and they're kind of just like implied. There are a lot of vibes and a handful of tables that you can use, so they're not like lore heavy or anything. But still, 5 different settings, rules for collaborative setting creation, character advancement stuff that I don't always put in games because I don't think every game needs character advancement, but that means it supports long-term play better than any other game I've made.
Right.
And yeah, I'm working on releasing, there's an early version of a PDF out. It's very ugly. It is technically functional. There's a website for it that has all of the rules that's available for free that anybody can just use. And then I'm working on a good PDF that'll actually be pretty and have art and stuff that I've made for it. So that's the big one that I think is the most in-depth and I've put the most amount of work into. And I'm really proud of what I've done with it. It might be my most played game as of today because like I play tested it for a while, and then of course like when I'm making a game, I'm usually the target audience because like I think at least one person needs to enjoy this game and nobody else. I might never convince anybody else to actually play a game that I make. So I might as well make one that I like. Is kind of how I think about it. But yeah, so I'm firmly within the target audience of this one, and I just really enjoy running it. I think it's a great time. You get to roll lots of dice. You get a lot of cool, silly items, like you might have a shining frying pan of tentacles or something, and then you get to decide what that means at the table. And once you decide, that's what it does. But like before you've decided, it's just a name with a die rating, and you get to think of how you might be able to use it.
That's good. I mean, like, if you're not making a game you like, I mean, what the hell are you doing, right?
Yeah, it's like if you're not making a game you like, why are you making a game? I mean, maybe the types of games you enjoy designing are different than the types you enjoy playing, but I feel like that's not most people. I think most people who, if you're designing a game, it's because you want to see that game out there, because you want to play a game like that, and you just haven't seen one do it quite the way that you wanted to.
I think saying it out loud, that makes sense. That like I would want to write a game that I would want to be a part of. But I think I miss that in like the way that I think about things, because like, yeah, it makes sense. I would want to see that game. I would want to play that game, so let me create it. But there's something so brave about you saying it out loud that I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like you're so confident in yourself that like I'm going to write a game that I'm going to enjoy. And I was like, yeah, get it. Fucking yes.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I really appreciate that. Like, that's not how I don't think about here being brave and confident. I'm just like, yeah, no, if no one else will enjoy this game, I will, and I'll have a great time, and anybody who doesn't like it, that's their loss, right? But yeah, no, I definitely I appreciate that you think that I'm confident in all of that stuff. I try to be. I try to give myself the credit that I'm probably due.
I mean, that's hard. Because why? Who's out there? I mean, but the other thing is, who's out there telling you no?
Yeah, that's kind of what a lot of it is. It's like nobody's going to stop me from making this game. I could just make it. I could just design a game, and no one can stop me.
Nobody. Adrian, nobody.
Yeah, I know, and I'm thinking about it like into my own thing. Guess who's stopping it? Me. I'm my own worst enemy. Hey, stop! You got to stay up till 5 a.m. playing TCG card game shop simulator.
The card game shop simulator. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I have to design games. Like, I think it's almost like a compulsion for me. I've gone on breaks from game design, but like I said, I've been doing game design stuff as a hobby since I learned how at like 17 when I learned level design in Unreal at a summer camp. No, it goes back farther than that. When I was like 12, I had a Mac. It was like a Mac OS 7 or something. My dad got it used at a garage sale. It had, I think it was called PowerCard was the program. And it was used to make basically interactive slideshows that were kind of like websites. I made a point-and-click adventure type game in that. It was never finished because I was like 12. But like I was making a fantasy adventure game that was inspired by like choose your own adventure novels of like taking different paths to go different places and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I couldn't design a game because I just am always doing it, I feel like.
But I think that's like incredible too, because a lot of people forget that like what brings you joy at a certain age and like things that you're naturally good at. Like, yeah, go do that thing. That's the thing you probably are programmed.
Yeah, just do the thing that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I think that we forget that a lot, especially when it comes to like artistic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Of like you don't have to be an amazing artist to make art, right? Like you don't have to be an amazing musician to like go out and sing or play guitar or whatever. You can just do it because you like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, you should do it because you like doing it. That's the best reason to make art. That's the best reason to be creative, in my opinion, is to like because you enjoy it. Because creating things is an enjoyable and probably fundamental part of the human experience. Mm-hmm. Right? That's how we got this far as a species. It was by making stuff and sharing it with people that we love. So go do that. If you take nothing else from this podcast, take that advice.
No, okay, there we go. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Sorry, it took me 2 seconds. I'm like struggling with the mute button. I'm like, I want to say yes. I agree.
I saw you going for something. And
I was like, he's going to say something profound. It's going to be so great.
Profound? Penny already said it.
I know.
I said the
but you're going to add on to it. But...
Add on to it? Fuck yeah. I don't know. Is that profound? I mean, I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't create. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, that's how it is for a lot of us, right? Like, a lot of us, especially in this like
space.
TTRPG space, like
yeah.
we're doing this for the love of the game, right? Like we don't get money from this. Mm-hmm. Some of us make a little bit extra in order to like we can buy a couple games, maybe make a student loan payment here and there. But hardly anyone's paying their rent with this stuff. We're here because we like doing it, because we like talking about these things.
Yeah, it gets us up in the morning. Oh yeah, me and my friends are gonna go play pretend, and we're gonna do some cool ass shit.
Yeah, we're gonna play pretend, but there's gonna be lots of rules, and we're gonna roll dice, and I promise you it's fun. It doesn't sound fun when I put it that way, but it's a great time. Highly recommend it.
Oh yeah. When you said the word derivative, something primal in my fucking brain went back to college and said, "Oh yeah, you failed Cal 3 times." I was like stunned for a bit. Alex is laughing because Alex used to be my academic advisor.
I told you.
You're like, yeah, that's a choice. I don't know if you should do it. I'm like, nah, it'll be fine.
I told you after the second time you took it that it wasn't going to replace, and that you were going to have both grades on there.
And I said, but it can't possibly fail a third time. Oh, the hubris of man. This one in particular.
There's not a lot of students that I like. I mean, I know, like, if they talk to me, I could recall. But that is one conversation that just, like, stuck in my brain with, like, things I've talked to students about, which was like, oh, I'm gonna get the calculus minor or the math minor, and I said you need
Math.
Cal 3, and you said I'll do it anyways, and then you failed it twice, and I was like, but you can't, like I love you, but you have to stop.
I did. I changed to film.
There's too many letters, like you have to stop.
Too many F's.
Some people have to learn things the hard way.
Again and again.
Okay. Right.
Within the creative space that we live, play, work in, what are some of the people that inspire you?
One of the first ones that comes to mind is Ryan Lynch, who made Perils and Princesses. One, the game Perils and Princesses is great, and two, his videos on like
They're so good.
art history and fairy tales. Oh my god, they're amazing. I could listen to him talk about fairy tale art for hours, and I probably have at this point in like 3-minute intervals on TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love every single one of those. Another one is Jack Panic of Dungeon Club. So I don't, if you're familiar with him, he posts a lot of images on TikTok and things like that of random like little items and stuff like that you can use in pretty much any game, and they all have like special little mechanics. But he's like one of my go-to people to talk to about like design things that make me excited, and he's just awesome to talk to. He will constantly be your hype man when it comes to talking about game design. And it's great. It definitely keeps me going, because it's like, if I have no one to share these game design ideas with, it's hard to maintain the energy long enough to actually like make them into something that would actually be playable. And so he's a major source of inspiration for that. And another person I really like talking design stuff, like game design stuff about, is Nerdy is the name that she goes by. Her handle is usually like Imagination Simulations or something like that. And she's like deep in like this weird design space, doing like weird conceptual stuff, which is beyond what I'm doing. I'm taking basic dex mechanics and seeing how far I can push them. But like, she's got a game that fits on a business card. Which is cool to see, like these different design limitations and following like there's, I don't remember what the acronyms stand for, but there are a couple of acronyms for, one is mosaic and the other one is ceramic, and both of them are like designing a game mechanic for a specific thing without having like a character sheet in mind. And like theoretically, if you took a bunch of these individual mechanics, you could have a playable game, and they would all work independently of each other, but also all work together to like move the story forward. And ceramic removes the dice from that. You can't use dice, which is like these really weird, interesting design limitations that I think push designers in a lot of new and interesting directions. Not what I'm doing, but I love seeing that kind of work.
Right.
And talking to somebody who is there, and they like respect the things that I'm doing, I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm doing good stuff. My vision for this game and my execution of the rules and my explanation of the rules and stuff like that all works. All of it does in fact fit the vision that I had, which I think is always a good feeling when you're talking about game design, especially like, I'm a very game system focused person, in that I want like everything about the game to kind of push you in the direction of like the intended experience, if that makes sense. So like, I have an idea of the types of stories you can tell and how that they might play out or something like that, and that sometimes does evolve through playtesting and iterations and stuff. But overall, it's like, I have this idea and I want everything in the game to support that idea. That means that I have to like write the tables in a certain way, which means I've rewritten tables that worked perfectly fine just because like they gave results that I think didn't fit the tone of the game, or like didn't reinforce the themes that I was trying to put into the game. and things like that, and like wanting to make sure that when you roll the dice, something meaningful happens, and that meaningful thing also reinforces the themes of the game. And I had another thought. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. I lost it. But
It happens.
but yeah, I think those are three of the people that I really enjoy talking to about like game design, and that who keep me motivated to keep doing this kind of stuff, which I think is a really big deal.
Yeah, I love Jack. I've had talked to him. Very motivational person, and I love his stuff. The
His stuff
art
is so good.
he makes, it just
Did
cranks
you
it out, and I'm just
did
like,
you know he makes all his stuff in Canva?
Hell yeah.
Which is wild. But like that's his workflow, and I'm like, hey, you do you. I'm over here. I draw all my own art, like either digitally or a lot of it for Distorted Domains was pen on paper. Like I did a sketch in pencil, and then I went over it in ink, and that's the art that's going to be put into the game. Which is not what a lot of people do at, I think, the level that I'm at for design. Like I'm designing stuff mostly solo. I am getting help with the layout for Distorted Domains, but like all of the rules, all of the art, it's like I'm making that myself, and like I don't think that that's the norm. A lot of people hire out for art. A lot of people hire out for editing and layout, and I think that that's great. I just kind of had a vision, and I like to draw, so I'm like, this is an excuse for me to draw all my own stuff. But like I see a lot of other people, the way that they're working, and it's like, yeah, they're taking a lot of public domain art, right? Maybe they're doing like photo bashing of like throwing public domain images over each other and using different filters and things like that, and I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna draw it. I don't want to go and look through all of this other stuff and see what fits my vibe. I'm just gonna make it, which is probably gonna take longer, but that's what I'm gonna do. And then like, so I'm an IT professional, and also chronically online trans woman. That means that I use Linux, which means I like can't use half the software that other people are using for design. Like I can't use Affinity. Theoretically I can. There are guides to install Affinity on Linux, but like it's hard and it does not work well. And so like I'm out here using like LibreOffice Writer or Scribus to make game files. I put my games up as websites first for a reason. It's because it's way easier for me to make a website than it is a PDF, which is not a normal thing that most game designers go through.
You've got a really good trick, and it's making websites. PDF? Who is she? I don't know who that is.
I don't know. But yeah, it's like, I don't... Websites make way more sense to me. I could just write Markdown and upload it to Git, and then I'm done. And those words are gibberish to like so many people I talk to. They don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, Jekyll just converts it to HTML automatically, and they're like, what is a Jekyll?
Yeah.
I mean,
I knew that last one, the HTML. I know that one.
HTML, yeah.
that's because we all coded as small children. Like
A little coding.
a
A little
little,
coding
just
goes a
coding
long
enough
way.
Back in
to,
the MySpace days.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I was not good at. I only coded like I want to say the last 5 years of my life. I started making website stuff to practice coding. So that MySpace stuff, I'm like, how do you guys do this? What is
No.
going on?
Yeah.
I
have a top 10.
I was so
That's
good
it?
at it. I spent a dumb amount of time. I also, my other like middle school, high school thing was like pixel drawing. So like I can format shit like that just in my brain. Like I can look at things and I'm like, yeah, it's like 4 pixels wide, but like it's so small. Why the fuck can I do this?
Yeah,
It's wild.
that is a hard skill to learn. I feel like because like there's a lot of limitations there. It's really difficult. Whereas I can only draw digitally if I get a bunch of if I get a bunch of brushes that feel pretty close to what I'm used to
Yeah.
doing on paper, right? Like I have these specific pencil and like ink pen brushes that I use in Krita because I'm like, yeah, no, this is almost what it feels like when I'm drawing with like actual graphite and ink. So I don't know. It feels like I'm in a really weird place where it's like I have to do art analog and then I'm like really good with technology everywhere else.
But I think that takes a different skill, and like that frustration level
Yeah.
of knowing that your skill is already higher than what you're able to do on whatever Wacom, a iPad, whatever version of online drawing you do. Like that, I have friends of mine who I know do incredible like illustrative art off of their tablet, and as soon as you give them digital, you're like, oh, my baby child, like, can you do something in ink again, because I'm forgetting if you can do art.
Yeah, it's such a different feeling. And like I have a pretty cheap Wacom tablet, which means it's not like a display tablet, so I'm not like I have to look at the screen and not at my hand. Which like it always takes me a little bit to like warm up to it when I'm doing digital art. It's like I gotta do like a quick little sketch first, and then I can work on something real. Whereas like if I have a sketchbook and like a mechanical pencil, I can just like bust out drawings like nobody's business, like without even thinking about it. I'll just like do that while I'm in a meeting. I'll just be doodling stuff and everybody's like, what are you drawing? And it's like, how did you draw all those things in 10 minutes? And I'm like, I don't know, I was just drawing the whole time because my hand had to move. I don't know what you want from me.
I don't have that. What's it called? That drive. I used to have that drive back in the day, and then I just like
Yeah.
all I can do is draw Pokemon, and that's it.
I definitely lost it for a while, but I've been working to make sure that I keep drawing, because it's like that's something that I've always liked, and I think that it's one, like I already emphasized this. I think that it's good for your brain to be creative. And that's one of the ways that I'm comfortable doing it. So in the last couple of years I've just been like trying to draw more and more, and then like with the world being on fire the way that it is, I've decided to spend more time drawing than on social media, which is nice. Highly recommend just like making stuff or like reading a book or something instead of scrolling on social media for hours on end. That's a bad time. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Did that for too long, and it was painful, and so I definitely try to do that less and less now.
Yeah, we gotta keep ourselves up. I know
Yeah.
the world is on fire and it seems very doomy, but to survive and to create is also a form of resistance upon what everyone's trying to tell us to do, which is just work and die for the government.
Right, yeah. It's like, no, we need to be like, joy is resistance, as you were like as you just said, and like especially for me as like a trans person who's like the target of a lot of this shit. It's just like, no, if I can still sit here and show that I can be at least some level of happy and like be able to be creative, I think that just hopefully inspires like other trans and queer people and other oppressed people out there that like, yeah, there's still things worth fighting for. And two, it shows like the oppressors that like, hey, I'm still here. You still gotta fucking deal with me. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. Right? I don't comply in advance or at all because I'm a pain in the ass. So.
No.
As we should be.
This week's conversation.
100%. You should be a pain in the ass to authority all of the time.
This week's conversation with the kids was like, hey, we're all poor and we're fighting against an evil, but I can't say like all of the things I want to say to y'all, but like we're all in the same boat together, and our enemy is not each other. But like they want it to be each other because then we don't form together and then fight them, right? So like, how do you convey that to, 10-year-olds?
How do you convey that
it's hard.
to a lot of the older people?
Right.
It's
I mean,
not
the
just a
older,
10-year-old thing.
I think it's more difficult to the older people because they're less likely to be wanting to learn new things. Because like when you're young enough, you just have to learn new stuff, right? Like you're just that's the stage of your life that you're in. You're going to be learning new things. But like once you're grown, once you're a tax-paying adult, like changing somebody's mind is like they have to actively choose to want to learn new things. They could just not, and a lot of people do. They're like, no, I don't feel like learning anything. I learned when I was in school. I'm done with that.
It's like, hey, I want to change your mind, and then immediately they're just like, I'm gonna fight you. I'm like, no, wait,
Right?
you gotta listen, just listen, please.
Right? It's like, no, I promise, I just want to like give you information.
Yeah, let's talk. It's like, no, that's a trick. I'm like, no, it's not. We're people, man. We're just trying to communicate.
Right.
Hey, we're all on the same level, and it's us versus them, and it's not me versus you, dude. Like can we work together? I don't know, man. Like fuck them. I would love to agree with you and say like the students are like, yeah, I get to learn new things every day, and they come in so open-minded.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't mean that they're happy and excited to learn new things.
No,
just that they
it does
have to.
It feels like they don't want to. Like it really I'm so sorry to get like real as like the real teacher. Like it really does feel like they push back so much. Because then I think about myself as a child, and like I wanted to learn about the things. I wanted to also know why they were important, or like I don't know, in catechism I was like, hey, why are there no women here? And then I started questioning things about religion pretty early, because I was like, there's no women but like the one, and we don't really talk about her afterwards because why? But like I was excited about learning. I love to read. I love to do that. But the kids, they just don't. But they brain rot. Like they just are so full of brain rot. I was like,
like all the skibbity toilet stuff?
Oh my god, skibbity toilet? If I have to hear, what did I do, bro? Like I literally feel my eyebrows shoot up to the top of my skull, and like I have to actively breathe. Like, what did I do?
Active breathing.
Yeah, no,
intensifies.
My kid is about the same age that you teach, but I usually only have to deal with one kid. Sometimes like 2 or 3, unless it's like a birthday party situation, in which case it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of them, but they're entertaining each other. So my experience is fairly different. It's like, I don't know. I just kind of hope that like repeated exposure to empathy and critical thinking will rub off on some of these kids. That's me being an optimist. That
sometimes it does. Sometimes
hopefully have a positive impact on their lives if they're around me.
Right.
It's
yeah.
I gotta have that hope that it's like, yeah, they're gonna do that. But my kid has 2 moms because me and my wife, and that has never been an issue in our school, which is awesome.
That's incredible.
Which is, yeah, no, I love that's never been an issue. I think most of the other parents know that I'm trans. I don't hide it, but I also don't like advertise it. So it's like, I'm pretty sure most of them know, because like I said, I don't hide it, but I also don't go out of my way to tell people. So some of them just might not. They just might not realize, and it's and so they might like have weird questions in their mind that they're afraid to ask, like, is Tesla genetically your daughter, and if so, how? And I'm like, it's like, If you're too afraid to ask, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
You can have all your mind thoughts to yourself.
Right,
You don't
yeah.
want to know. You don't have to ask.
yeah, no, the thing is they don't ask.
Yeah,
They just,
exactly.
like I've gotten vibes that they're like not sure what the situation is. They're like, so my kid, it's like, yeah, they have two moms, and it's like, okay, they look like both of you somehow. And it's like,
What's going on here?
you're gonna figure that out eventually. I promise.
Has science gone too far? No, I'm just
Right,
kidding. Listen, we can do that nowadays, where so like there's an answer with but they don't know which one it is, right? They don't know if
they
hey,
don't
did
know.
they have a lot of money,
Well, and like,
or did they transition?
and like, and I'm distinctly the more feminine one of the two of us, of Tesla's two moms. So I think that raises even more uncertainty for some of them, which is like not surprising at all if you're if you know a lot. Like, there are way more like femme trans lesbians than there are like butch trans lesbians, so it's like this isn't surprising at all. That, and like, if you saw us before, you would probably be questioning both of our genders and our sexuality. Like, it's like, no, we never looked straight, even when it was like technically a man-woman couple. It's like, no, we didn't look straight at all. I was wearing like bright pink button-ups, and I had hair down halfway down my back.
The whole
the
time.
only, like, yeah,
And
yeah.
then you have that conversation of like, it's been here the whole time, the whole entire. I have some friends that I'm like, no, it at no point do I like think of you as anything other than what you are right now. Like, it's still, even looking at you right now, I have friends who have baby pictures and you're like, nah, that's a girl. That's a girl the whole time. It's been a girl the whole time. I don't know how you missed it. It's a girl. There might have been extra bits, but
so speaking of the baby pictures, a funny thing that happened in my life when I was a baby, I had a very full head of hair, and so my mom would like to put like bows and stuff in it. And then she was still surprised when I came out as trans as an adult, and it's like, I'm 90% sure you subconsciously raised me as a daughter and just didn't know that. Like, it's like, no, I was treated differently than a lot of the boys were in my family. I don't, like, we all knew what was going on, but I was just the first one to acknowledge it, and you got confused because you weren't ready for that yet.
I was the only one brave enough to say yes. This is who
The
I
first
am.
one, like, I came out to my friends, they're all like, yeah, that tracks. That makes sense. But a lot of my family, especially my older family members, are like, wait, what? For real? And I'm like, I don't know how you didn't see this.
The signs were there.
Right? The signs, like, I guess you were just seeing what you wanted to see. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh yeah, gender this is a construct.
my entire family was like, yeah, you didn't know? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, and they were like, what? You, the whole time. Once again, the whole time. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm happy I stressed about this moment for like months.
Yeah.
For them to be like, okay, and like,
right? And it's like, I thought you had news.
did you do you have anything else? Like, did you get a new tattoo or a piercing? Like something jazzy? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Some of us, when we come out of the closet, we in fact were the last ones to know.
Yeah.
And it's very stressful when it happens, but it's funny looking back on it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I see why you all thought that we were on the same page.
Group hug. Group hugs.
It is a little surprising that your family was like that when you said that you went to, like, was it Catholic school?
I went to catechism. So I didn't go to Catholic school. I went to like regular old public school, but like my parents were Catholic, so like I went to Sunday school. I went to catechism, and like I did my first communion, and then my dad was like, cool, you don't have to do this anymore. And I said, okay, thank you. And that's like 5th grade, right? So that's pretty early for all the sacraments to be like, no, you're good. Like, I didn't get confirmed, and it wasn't even asked. Like, hey, do you want to? It was just like, no, I know.
Yeah.
That's not for you.
You're not gonna make it far here.
No.
Let's just.
No.
That's funny.
I was just like, okay, cool. And my dad was like, my dad went to parochial school the whole time. Went to Boston College High School. Went to Boston College, like, raised with nuns, and then he was just like, oh, not this one. Whoops. I don't know why I'm like doing hand gestures
Why
for
are you
a
throwing the baby
podcaster.
out?
Because that was me being thrown out of the
religious
the
sect.
religious. Yeah, it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, I think I've.
I-
We're still discussing a lot of things about me. I'm too. We're still discovering things.
Adrian's
There's
in his
something
journey.
there. Oh, yeah.
Listen. We could talk about that, but I think that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, it's
Yeah.
all good.
Gender's a thing. Some of us have it.
Yeah, I think like my understanding of who I am as an individual was very stunted due to the fact of what society was associated of me as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started to unlearn those things and thinking like, oh, I shouldn't be mad when someone calls me gay. I should be like, no, that's just not who I am right now. Like, I should just like, if someone were to say my hair was blue, I'm like, no, that's not right.
That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right,
weird
exactly.
that you're saying that. I don't know.
And that's how I think kind of got through it. But like, I just remember being a very angry guy early on. But I'm better now. I'm much calmer. I think I've always been calm.
I don't know
but-
if that concerns me. Like, I just talked to a friend of mine that was like, I just like, bit a kid in the ear. But like now I'm just calm. And I'm like, but are you?
But that rage was there.
Right?
Where
Can
did
we
it
go back to the biting a kid on the ear thing? Like, I don't.
Those things don't match up, and maybe you did it out of protection, but like, is that gonna pop out of a box later? Is that like, did you deal with those emotions?
Without the reference, if you said that by itself, it sounds like a grown person bit a kid in the ear, like a dog.
No, it was a child biting another child's ear, but like,
Yeah.
also, why were you so full of rage as a?
Why are you so close to their ear? Why are you in biting range of their ear?
Yeah.
Like, but why?
Alex, do you have any other questions?
I
For
I,
this?
I don't. But Penny, you're incredible. So thank you for
Thank
sharing your game making. And now I just want to go make like click through PowerPoints of like choose your own adventure PowerPoints.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's
design.
basically what a visual novel is these days, right? Like,
True story.
a little more advanced on the visual novel section, but like it's the same idea
Yeah.
of it's like you just make choices once in a while. I'm gonna hold it until the end of the podcast. I was saying that that's basically the same idea as a visual novel is these days, of the story playing out in front of you, and you make a choice once in a while. So yeah, if you want to make a click through PowerPoint as a game, I totally support you in that.
Make a
if you wanna
game
make-
before I do.
Yeah,
Oh.
if you want to make other types of games, I fully support that as well. I really like game design, and I think game really interesting, like art medium. So obviously really passionate about them because I started making games forever ago and have just kind of never stopped. I've taken breaks here and there, but like I've kind of always been doing it. I probably always will, as long as I have the capability. So I love games and game design, and it was talking with both of you. I had met Adrian before. I have not met you, Alex, before, so it was very nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how much game design talk we got on here and how much like philosophy we did. I don't know.
It's fine. We had enough
Sometimes
games.
that's good
Just do the
enough.
thing. Just do the game. What we find out is just do the game thing. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
And then everything will be great.
just make the game. Make the game happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Penny, where can they find you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am at PennyLescroche which is TikTok, YouTube, Mastodon, and Blue Sky these days. I stopped using the Meta platforms, as I'm sure a lot of you will understand. I also run the Titterpig Academy accounts in those places where I tell you about various role-playing games. My personal account is like the games that I'm working on and just like life stuff. So it's kind of split between those two. You can also find me in the Titterpig Academy Discord. If you go to titterpig.academy/Discord, you'll get that link, and you can check out like the Titterpig Academy socials and blog and all of that stuff at titterpig.academy. So you can find all that there. My games are published under the brand Transcendent Tapir, which is transtaper.itch.io or transtapier.games. So you can find me a lot of places because I have too many brands that I'm in charge of somehow. I don't know why I split it up like this. It's too much work. Don't do that. Just be one person. Don't be three like me.
It happens.
Thank
We
you.
try to chomp off more than we can chew, you know?
Yeah,
We're
for
just like,
sure.
I have a profile
It's
for
like I'm
this.
trying to like future-proof things and stuff like that, and it's like, I mean, the Titterpig Academy one makes way more sense because that isn't just me. It's just me making like the short videos on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, but like, you know, if it's Q&As or some longer form videos and stuff that might be coming from other people, when it comes to the Discord, there's a whole bunch of us that run and teach games and answer questions and all of that stuff. So that one's definitely not just me. Anyway, that's where you can find me. I should probably sign off because I'm tired of fighting with my microphone.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us where pods are cast, so be sure to rate, subscribe, give us 5 stars, whatever is there. Just do it to the nth degree. You can always share us with your friends, your families, your enemies to lovers, or your mortician, because I have a Caitlin Dowdy book right next to me. So just share it with your friendly neighborhood mortician. You can also find us on the social medias at Dungeon and Degrees. And you can help support our page by going to patreon.com/Dungeon and Degrees.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
That's been Penny.
Yeah, and I am Penny. It was great being out here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Go have some fun.